You are staying with us. We now move on to our next story in the United States, where in a shocking turn of events in Boulder, Colorado, a vigil for Israeli hostages was shattered when a man shouted "Free Palestine" and threw a Molotov cocktail into the crowd, injuring 6 people. Authorities are investigating the incident as a targeted terror attack with possible hate crime motives. Here's the Boulder police chief sharing initial details.
Very preliminary information about an attack that occurred here in downtown Boulder. The initial callers indicated that there was a man with a weapon and that people were being set on fire. The initial response by our officers, we were on scene very quickly. When we arrived, we encountered multiple victims that were injured with injuries consistent with burns and other injuries.
FBI Special Agent Mark Michalek from the Denver field office stated that the suspect, identified as Mohammed Soliman, he was hospitalized following the attack. FBI Director Kash Patel also called the event a targeted terror attack, while Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser labeled it a possible hate crime due to the nature of the targeted group. Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern said there is no evidence of additional suspects involved. The attack occurred on Pearl Street Mall, a busy pedestrian area near the University of Colorado, during an event hosted by Run for Their Lives, a group raising awareness about hostages taken after the October the 7th attack on Israel. Now let's turn to a resident for their account.
My co-workers explain me what happened. So I hear, or they explain me, someone throw a Molotov cocktail for a protest, but that's it. I all hear.
Yeah.
I feel a little upset because it's supposed we have in a country in the first world, so that these things it's supposed can happen, you know, because in my country is something like that is very irregular, you know, because I came from Latin America, so you can see those things every day. But here, looking at other things, I'm very, very close to my work. Is very, very scared.
We're once again joined by Daniel Wagner to discuss this further, who joins us from Colorado, the state where the incident occurred. Daniel, have you got any more information? Obviously, you join us from Colorado and very aware that is a big state, but have you got any more information? Have you heard anything that has occurred during this attack, why it happened, etc.?
Well, let me just say to begin with that I'm a native of Denver. Boulder is about 30 minutes from Denver, and I lived in Boulder for a couple of years. Wow. The place where this where this attack occurred is the municipal courthouse, as you said, on the Pearl Street Mall, which is the most famous place in Boulder. You know, Boulder is a place where people go to climb mountains and meditate and practice yoga. It's a very peaceful place. So you would almost think this would be the last place in the United States where you would see this kind of an attack. But it's also worth pointing out that there are many places in America where you have people who are pro-Israeli on one side of the street saying what they want to say, and people across the street who are pro-Palestinian or pro-Hamas on the other side saying what they want to say. And they generally do what they want to do in peace. So this is unusual, but we're seeing a pattern now develop, which is with all the rhetoric that's going on and all the stuff on social media and all the extremists on both sides of this equation, I guess clashes are bound to happen. The person who was arrested is originally of Egyptian descent. And I think that's interesting, but the attack from a few days ago in the States also was from someone who was not from the Middle East. This is the killing of those 2 Israeli embassy employees in Washington, D.C. last week. That guy was of Latino descent, I believe. So I don't think there's necessarily any rhyme nor reason why someone takes a free Palestine position and then gets violent with that.
Daniel, Political violence, if you can call this that, isn't new to the United States. But there is a increasing trend of ideologically motivated violence. You just cited the attack that happened a few days ago in regard to those 2 Israeli embassy workers that lived in Washington. But in relation to international conflicts, what can you tell us about the state of the United States and how divided people are politically when it comes to this issue?
Yeah, I mean, there's a political element to all of this, whether one is pro-Israel, anti-Israel, etc. It isn't necessarily a Democrat or Republican. It's emblematic, though, is that people are just so divided on so many issues in this country that there doesn't seem to be a middle ground on much of anything. It seems like extremists on both sides sort of control the narrative, and the people in the middle who are wanting perhaps to take a more commonsensical approach to a given issue, they get drowned out by the extremists on both sides. And this is certainly consistent with that theme.
Yes, and Daniel, how do you see the Trump administration responding to this? Do you see him playing on it? How do you see him reacting? We obviously saw a staunch opposition to when the previous attack happened on 2 Israeli embassy workers. We've seen him respond to pro-Palestine protests at Harvard University, Columbia University, universities across the US. How do you think the Trump administration is going to react to this attack?
I think they're going to, Mr. Trump in his first time in the presidency, of course, had an issue with Muslims more generally. It wouldn't surprise me if he, takes this opportunity to say something anti-Muslim, although he may not. Of course, viewing himself in this peacemaker role in various conflicts around the world, I suppose he doesn't want to necessarily lash out at any particular group. But he's clearly, done a number of things that are against people who oppose Israel or are anti-Semitic, and I would imagine that sort of approach is going to be consistent with what we'll see from him in the future.
Daniel Wagner, thank you so much for joining us. Pleasure to have you on the program. We now move over to